prep that I have ever had. I have never seen Twitter light up the way it lit up. And I tell you, I got so many thoughts running through my head right now. And this may be one of the days where I kind of follow my Twitter feed to kind of get a line on what I want to talk with you about. And I encourage you to go to my Twitter feed. If you don't have a Twitter account, go to Twitter, sign up, get an account, and follow my Twitter feed at Brian J. Fisher. That's my handle, Brian J. Fisher. Got to have that J in there because there's at least one other Brian Fisher who tweets. The poor guy is a sports writer for CBS. I have no idea how much hate mail that guy gets. I mean, he must have some idea what it's like to be me because of the kind of vitriol, and you have no idea of the things that are said to me on Twitter. And I'm sure people mistake him for me, and so he gets that bile directed at him. So you got to be sure you got the J in there, Brian J. Fisher. And that's where, Ezekiel's word, do not be afraid of their words. Do not be afraid of their looks. I've given you a message. You deliver it. You're a watchman. You've got a job to sound the alarm. If they listen, you've saved them. If they don't listen, their blood is on their own heads. But you will have done the task that I assigned you to do. Remember I think it was the Washington Post. Remember their excuse for not covering the Gosnell story? Their excuse was that this was a local crime. We don't cover local crime. It's a local crime story. That was their excuse. Well, it was obviously just a sham excuse. They didn't want to touch it because this guy is a butcher. I told you the story yesterday about I think it's a relative, his brother or a brother-in-law or something of Gosnell was a janitor there. And the toilets kept getting clogged up with baby parts. And he'd go down to clear the plumbing, and little parts of babies would come out of the pipe. And he'd load them up on a black trash bag, take them down in the basement where they had a cat running around because they had rats all over the place or mice all over the place or something. I mean, it's just absolutely grotesque, and today I've got a story. I won't go through the details. I mean, what I've told you is grotesque enough. But there's a woman by the name of Karima Cross. She worked for Kermit Gosnell for 4 years. She got so disturbed at what was going on that in 2008, she began to take photographs. She gave testimony today. She's the last witness in the prosecution against Gosnell today. She began taking photographs in 2008. She took them to authorities, and they paid no attention. They could have cared less. And this was a year, mind you. This was a year before he killed that poor woman, Karnamaya Munger. It was a year after this that he botched her abortion so badly, basically overdosed her, drugged her to death, and he's on trial for her murder now. Well, if authorities had paid attention to what Karima Cross had brought to them, I think there's got to be some culpability here somewhere for the governor's office in Pennsylvania and for whatever department was responsible to do these inspections. They didn't inspect this guy's place in 17 years while this carnage was going on. But anyway, this Karima Cross testified that there were at least 10 babies that she saw when she was working there that were breathing. They were born and they were breathing before they were killed. 10 of them that she saw with her own eyes. Now, he's only on trial for the murder of 7 babies. She saw at least 10. We have reason to believe there were at least 100 babies that were born alive, and then he severed their spinal columns. That's internal decapitation is what they call that, when your spinal column is severed from your skull. That's an internal decapitation, and that apparently is what he did as many as 100 times. But anyway, she testified today, this is according to AP, she saw the baby's chests move, but was told by Gosnell they were not breathing. She also claims to have seen 3 of the babies move their limbs and another let out a soft whine before they were aborted alive. That's what AP refers to it, as a live abortion. That's not an abortion. That's murder. That's infanticide. These are newborn babies. They are infants. They are out of the mother's womb. They are American citizens. They have just been murdered. This is infanticide. And this woman, Karima Cross, testified to that today. So we will see where all of that goes, where all of that takes us. But anyway, getting back to what motivated these two brothers to do this thing, and let me see if I can find a little bit from some of the family members. Well, to get back to this local crime angle, remember the Washington Post said, we're not going to cover that guy that's butchering babies and committing internal decapitation of newborn babies. We're not going to cover that. We got no interest in that. That's just a local crime story. New York Times assigned one reporter to this story after 4 weeks. They didn't assign a reporter to that story until this week. Reporter shows up for 2 days and they cancel the assignment. So the New York Times has got nobody there covering this story. So they just dismiss it. But it's a minimum of 100 babies and a number of women who were murdered. And you look at the attention that they are given to this deal. It is wall to wall. I watched Fox News all morning. They didn't even look at another story all morning. This is all they talked about. All they focused on is what's going on in Boston. Well, I ask you, isn't that a local crime story? Where'd that happen? It happened in one location. It happened in the city of Boston. That's a local crime story. So why is the Washington Post all over that? So that's just, again, you just kind of see the absolute staggering hypocrisy of the mainstream media, and frankly, that's why you listen to Focal Point and AFR Talk, because we're going to cut through all of that. Even when Fox News is responsible for the distortion, we're going to tell you, I love Fox News. That's the only cable news station that I even bother to watch. I'll have to have a reason to shift over to CNN, and I only use MSNBC for comic relief. So Fox News is, for me, the most trusted source of news on the air, on cable or on the airwaves. But obviously, we can't even trust Fox all the time. So you need somebody even to kind of keep an eye on Fox News. Here's what the gym partner, this guy was a boxer. Here's what his workout partner said. The older guy, he's the one that's dead now. Again, the guy that may have killed himself by detonating a suicide vest. The younger brother, and I haven't had any updates in the last 40 minutes, so I don't know if they've apprehended him yet. They don't even know where he is. But the entire city of Boston is locked down. I mean, it is a ghost town. It's eerie to look at that. This is one of the busiest centers of commerce in the country, in the world. And that place is deserted. And you talk about terror. I mean, that's terror. You're looking at terror. There's not a living soul that's out there in the streets of one of the major cities in America, because everybody has been driven inside by these Muslim murderers simply doing what their prophet and their God commands them to do. So realize now that when they do this, they are being good Muslims. Now, if a Christian had done this, if a Christian had packed a pressure cooker with ball bearings and nails and shards of metal and whatever else was put in there, pieces of glass, whatever else was put in that pressure cooker, and set this thing off and killed 3 people and wounded 176, that guy would be a bad Christian. Because what does the founder of Christianity teach us to do? To love your enemies and to pray for them. Now, what does the founder of Islam teach you to do to your enemies? Cut their heads off. Slay the idolaters wherever you find them. So what does a good, devout Muslim do? He obeys the Holy Quran. He obeys his holy book. He obeys his prophet. He obeys his demon god Allah. And he goes out and he kills infidels just like the holy book says. When the sacred months are over, slay the idolaters wherever you find them, arrest them, besiege them, lie in ambush everywhere for them. This is Surah chapter 9. Let's see if I can find a couple of more. Here we go. Here is Surah 9:29. fight against such of those to whom the scriptures were given, that's us, as believe in neither God, their God, Allah, nor the last day, who do not forbid what Allah and his apostle have forbidden. We don't forbid people to eat pork. We don't prohibit that. We don't forbid that. But their God, their prophet, their apostle does, and do not embrace the true faith until they pay tribute out of hand and are utterly subdued. March in the cause of God. And then Muhammad says to his followers, if you do not go to war against the wicked infidels who do not prohibit what Muhammad prohibits, he will punish you sternly. Whether unarmed or well-equipped, march on and fight for the cause of God with your wealth and with your person. So that, and this is just a sample of the number of verses in the Quran that exhort the followers of Muhammad and Allah to carry out acts of violence against the unbelievers. So what does that mean? That means that a Muslim who did what these two brothers did, that Muslim is a good Muslim. He is a devout Muslim. He is obeying his prophet, obeying his holy book, obeying his God. Now, if a Christian does that, he's being a bad Christian and would be universally condemned by every Christian leader. When that guy walked in and shot George Tiller in his church, the pro-life community universally, without exception, condemned that act. Not something we support. That's not how we bring about change. It's not the way we do it. We bring about change through ballots and not bullets. Bullets is the way of Islam. So when somebody does that in the name of Christ, we stand up against that. We rebuke that. That's not the way of Christ. So anyway, here's what, and my point, part of my point this morning is to say, look, there's no way to tell who the Muslims are that we have to worry about from those that we don't. There's no way to tell. This is what the gym partner said about the guy that killed 3 Americans, completely innocent, injured 176. I got 25 or 30 amputations. He was a really nice guy. He helped people at the gym. He was friendly with everyone. He said this comes as a complete shock. Point is, no way to tell.